What's going on, everybody? My name is Jeremy. For those of you that don't know, Jeremy Scott. I am the broker owner of Summit Cove Realty, and this is my good dear friend, client, investor, lender, but
Business
most
partner.
business partner. I've actually helped been I call myself the chairman of the board. Calvin is starting Hard Money Malek is a hard money lending company. He has a full-time job, but he's doing this as well. And what we're doing here today is I wanted to pick his brain on camera because a lot of people will ask questions. What's it like? What does the lending look like? How is it tangibly broken down? So I thought no better than get my oldest, dearest friend and lender on the camera to answer some questions about that. So, Calvin, why don't you give us about a 30-second breakdown of who you are?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on here. My name's Calvinmalek. I started a company called Hard Money Malek after having the inspiration from Jeremy. I've worked,
It's an
I've
honor.
worked, yeah, I've worked my own job, my own career here for 11 years with Sewell Automotive, and and I've been lending now for about 4 or 5 years. I think we started in 2018, the very first time that I lent out any money at all, and
It's
it's
crazy.
crazy what it snowballed into. And
And I remember the first time too, you're like, so what is this? What is going on? What are
I remember pitching it to my wife and her being like, um, I don't know. And then now it's like I don't even know if she has any idea how many deals we've done together
Yeah.
just because of it. It's just
She just likes
become
seeing
a
the
part of
money
it.
deposited and just
Yes, that's right.
that's awesome. Well,
That's
good. No, I'm
exactly
glad
right.
to hear that because it is one of those things. It's like buying a house the first time you ever buy it, right? It's like overwhelming and scary, and then you do it, and you're like, oh, that was
Yeah,
piece of
it was
cake.
a big concept that ended up being really easy to execute, and having someone that I trusted like you made it a lot easier to take that first step for sure.
Definitely. So let's roll with that. Not the trust thing. That's good. I appreciate that. But let's roll with the um, security and what would have prevented you and Christina, his wife, not preventing because you did it, but what were those main reservations up front?
Oh man, I remember. All right, so I guess this kind of tell the story of how it even happened was I think that you had said that you had a property that a lender had just dropped off on, or something had happened where you were coming up on closing and you didn't have the capital. And I was like, how much is it? And I think it was like 90 grand. And he said, it's $90,000. And I was like, I got that money. Like, what would you pay me if I lend it to you? And you're like, you interested? I was like, I
I think so.
I guess. Like, what would that look like? And then and so I mean, that first one was a lot harder to take that step because we didn't even have the infrastructure set up yet, like what we have
Right.
now, where I mean, we were Googling loan
Oh
documents at
yeah.
that time, and we didn't have like attorneys involved. We had a title company. I mean, so
Right.
you have that, but and I remember going home and calling up, friends and family, being like, hey, what do y'all think about the idea of lending out $90,000? And everyone's like, some people were like, yeah, that sounds great, and some people were like, oh, I wouldn't do that if it was me. And I didn't. It was that leap of faith, not
Yeah.
quite understanding at that time that like I was going to have a legit lien on a property where when we're done, I have to sign a release of lien so
Yeah.
that someone else can finance it.
Right.
And and
Literally
so
a
it was,
bank. The bank of hard money Malik is what it's turned into. But it's
yeah,
no different
now
than, Wells Fargo having a lien on your property and
that's exactly right. It was just an interesting concept because I didn't know anyone at the time who did it. Now I know tons of people who lend money like this, and it's a really big world that I didn't realize back then.
it's
But I'm
amazing how big it is when and people like again, you invested into another venture, right? That um is a
yeah.
business. It's different because my favorite thing about the lending on the loan, the real estate, is the lien position. Especially when
Yeah.
you're an investor.
So what I've come to realize is you have a collateralized loan versus an uncollateralized loan in everything everything that I do with you or with real estate is all collateralized. So
Which is huge.
if things went south, it doesn't matter because you have a asset that's worth more than what you've loaned out, and
Absolutely.
so there's always the security back there. The other direction that I've done is the uncollateralized loan, and those are just, I mean, that's, you have a piece of, yeah, you have a piece of paper that says that someone owes you this money, but if it goes south, I mean,
Yeah,
those are high risk and high reward.
correct. I've done a
So
few of those, and fortunately, I've made all the money that where if I lost it all, it would break even.
yeah,
But I still don't want to do that.
no, you don't want to, but those
Yeah,
are those type of loans, uncollateralized. That's more like being in Vegas gambling,
yeah.
you know,
Or,
and they're
or
fun. They're kind of, they get your heart rate going a little bit, but they're, that's not a great business model to go after
yeah,
uncollateralized loans.
you'll end up
But
like Sam Bankman-Fried,
yes,
the
that's
FTX
exactly
guy,
right. Yeah,
100%. Well,
yeah.
and I was gonna ask, do you own any stocks that are collateralized?
Yeah, right. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I have a pretty big stock portfolio, but that's, and honestly, that's all this is diversification. You know,
Mhm.
diversifying your portfolio of another way to put in money. And honestly, this
Absolutely.
is what's paid out a great return. My stocks right now, they were doing fantastic, and then this past year they've gone down so much. But this, the loans that I have with you and in real estate are all, I mean, it's guaranteed a return.
They're getting paid and they're accruing interest literally as we speak on this video.
Every single day.
You're
Yeah,
actually getting paid to do this video.
that's right.
That's cool. Well, one, I love that you're saying all that because that is what we hammered down on in the note meetups and whatnot. It's like I'm not telling you to not go do stocks, to not do long-term stuff. What I love is Calvin has done it to the T. He invests a heavy amount. That way, even though it's down, he's not selling, right? So he's not losing and realizing the money. It will
Right.
recover. He's 34, 35 years old. You just turned 35, didn't you?
35, yeah.
Yeah. And so what I'm getting at is before he retires, it will recover, and he's got this other avenue making consistent income the entire time.
Yeah,
Uh,
hopefully that recovers in the next year or two.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. This isn't a political podcast, so I'll refrain from those statements. Um, well, that's, I mean, that's kind of the majority of it. I mean, what else? That's the meat and potatoes of it. I would
Yeah, so
say,
I mean, I could
how many
kind of,
deals have we done?
we've done 24 deals together.
Nice. So
So
over
I've
4 years.
made, I mean, I think that we've kept out somewhere around like 600 to $700,000 at a time,
Yeah,
and and I mean, it's made me great money. I think that if I look at it, last time I looked at it, I was about to clips like $200,000
nice.
of just passive income.
Let's go.
Yeah, high five.
Virtual high five. So on that note, Calvin is in Houston. He's a very savvy, business-minded guy who's looking to build capital as we are up here. So if you know Calvin and you're watching this and you don't know me, reach out to Calvin because he can
Yeah,
get
for
you
sure.
started and applied in these same things. He's starting a fund, if you will, the Hard Money Malek Company Lending, where it's going to be in, you know, a lot of it is going to be in our deals. I'm sure there'll be other avenues that they take it as well. But if you want to get involved, I would highly, highly encourage it because we can get your money deployed and everybody wins in that situation.
Yeah.
Uh, so I would
And the
encourage.
thing that I would say, like, that I tell people is, because I've gotten a lot of people now, friends and family, who are all lending money, and it's funny because no one had thought of this avenue for a type of passive income, and now, I mean, even my parents are lending someone money to someone that,
Nice.
I mean, there's it's just the amount of people that are open to the idea, but they need it to hear someone else who's done it and been
Exactly.
successful.
Exactly.
But the way that you and I do it, and what I tell people is, I'm like, okay, so we have a loan agreement. I guess we should just kind of say, here's what the process looks like. So
Yeah.
Jeremy will call me up and say, hey, I've got this property that's closing here in a couple of days. Here's how much I need for purchasing. Here's how much the rehab's going to be. Here's how long the process is going to, how long I expect it to be out. Here's what it's worth right now. Here's what it's going to be worth at the end. So all the underwriting essentially. And
Hmm.
then I'll wire the money to a title company that he's using. And from there, the money is dispersed after closing. So title company is the one who's responsible for it.
Yep.
Jeremy and I have a loan agreement, and I'm protected with the deed of trust here in the state of Texas. So anyone that looks up that house can see that there is a lien on that property from, now it's Hard Money Malek. It used to be just Calvinmalek. And then whenever Jeremy's done and you say, hey, I'm about to close on this house, then once he'll close the title company, and once title gets everything done, then I get a wire back for all of the principal plus all the interest.
And then he goes on vacation.
And then
No.
we go on vacation. No, and then I say, all right, Jeremy, as funny because every time you call, you say, all right, I got one that's about to close. I'll say, all right, well,
When's the next one?
when's the next one?
Well, and it's a good thing to get there because you realize a long time ago, right, that you're not making money if it's not deployed. And if
That's
it's
100%.
deployed with the deed of trust protecting your, collateralized loan, I mean, there's a reason why the banks do this and they don't buy rentals, right? Calvin's
Yeah.
had a rental before.
Yeah, I did.
And yeah, it's not
Rental's not for me.
it's not
This
fun, man.
Yeah, this is a much easier approach. I mean, the only work that I'm doing is literally sending a wire, and then I do have to get a release of lien that gets notarized. So getting a piece of paper notarized about
Yeah.
6 months, 7 months after you've sent out money is the most work that I'm really doing.
The best way I've heard it put by people that are way more successful than me is this is the most quiet business that they run.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
a
for
lot
sure.
that goes into it. There's not people that are complaining.
That's right.
It's straight and simple. And the default situation, I always say if I died, because I'm not defaulting and losing all that equity.
Yeah.
But
Well, and I've talked to a lot of investors now, and the industry the industry rate of defaults is less than 1%.
really,
And
that's a good
yeah,
statistic. Interesting. Very interesting.
and most of the actually I've talked to probably 4 or 5 investors that all have had someone default where they've had to file bankruptcy or
Mhm.
not bankruptcy,
Foreclosure.
foreclose, and all of them say that they ended up they all got their money back and they all made money off of it because they have an asset
Absolutely.
that they turn around and resell
The worst case
as
scenario
is.
is a best case scenario financially.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's very very. My stocks are way more risky than this right here. I mean, like Tesla stock, it was down 13% yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like that's insane.
Consider
And
buying some now.
yeah, but I mean, this right here has just been such a constant and just a very easy, guaranteed, and it's
Consistency.
been great. It's very consistent. I've appreciated you being the one to introduce me to this whole idea.
Nice. Well, that's really it. I wanted to keep it kind of short today, but I literally love everything you said, and that's why I wanted it to come from the heart.
Yeah,
Because that went exactly as I expected and hoped. But again, it's truth. We didn't have any questions we went over ahead of time. It's just we and Calvin and I have been friends for a long time. We went to A&M. We both worked at Sewell together starting out. We both bought the cheapest fake ties off of eBay all the time.
yeah, we
And
did.
I guarantee you that tie he's wearing is $200. But we've come a long way. But yeah, we used to day trade and lose just lots and lots of
Oh,
money
I
we
was
could
horrible
afford
at
to
day trading.
lose.
I was horrible at it.
uh, Still am. I mean, I can
Yeah,
read a chart like no one's business, but the psychology of trading, I couldn't do it.
yeah. The I always say if if I want to make $10,000, then give me 100,000, and and a couple weeks later I can turn that into 10.
Oh, yeah. That's rough. Well, Calvin, I appreciate it, man. We got obviously a bright future, but definitely, if you're listening to this, reach out to Calvin and you're in Houston and you know him. He will get your money, earning money, and everybody wins, and he will keep it secure. Go buy your Tesla, gamble, do that if you want to. But if you want to make consistent, we'll even call it boring. But like he said, man, this has been over the last 4 to 5 years my most consistent return. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I think, take that to home. So, Calvin, appreciate it, man. Any
All right.
parting wisdom, words of advice for us?
I don't really have anything. Say just diversify. I mean,
Happy New Year.
that's and always actually I will say, I tell everyone, I don't care what you do, just do something with your money. Don't keep it in a checking account or savings account, because
Earning nothing.
that's earning nothing. Even if you're in stocks and it's going down, I mean, the overall year over year you're going to be up, and just diversify. So this is a fantastic way of doing it.
Nah,
And I will say, taking your first step into it is, it might be scary your first time, but after you've gotten your feet wet, it's you're very, very comfortable very quickly.
sweet. Well, I appreciate it, man. I
All right.
appreciate you taking the time to come on. We'll talk to you
Yeah.
soon.
All right.
Thanks for listening, everybody.